This is a comparison of male and female pelvises. If you observe a pelvis, you will notice that it has two coxal bones, one here and one here, and of course it has the sacrum in the center. They're joined together by the symphysis pubis. The difference between male and female pelvises is related, of course, to childbirth. So let's have a look at the differences between the two. If we were to observe the pelvis itself, we can see that it has one inlet and one outlet. The inlet, of course, is here. The superior aspect here is the inlet. The inferior aspect here is the outlet. This is the ilium, this is the ilium, and this is the iliac crest. This is an iliac crest. So this area between the two iliac spines, superior, anterior iliac spines, here and here, is wider in a female than it is in a male. And we notice this as we look around us in society and see females with an hour-shaped figure and maybe males with narrow hips. So if we observe the female and the male pelvis, we will see that the distance between the superior anterior iliac spines is shorter in a male and it is greater in a female, giving a female a larger inlet to the pelvis. This, of course, allows baby to enter the pelvis easily. Other things that we would want to notice are the distance in the outlet. The outlet is determined by iliac spines. These iliac spines here in the female are quite far apart, where if we were to look at the male pelvis in comparison, we can see that the iliac spines are much closer together. One of the problems with this particular model is it's mixing its coccyx. So we can't really make the comparison here that I wanted to. But let's look at the male coccyx. We can see that the male coccyx actually curves inwards towards the inlet of the pelvis. Where if we were to observe the female, we would observe that the coccyx comes down and doesn't turn inward into the inlet. So ultimately, this position of the coccyx is another difference between the male and the female pelvis. So we can look at a smaller inlet, a smaller outlet, a more anteriorly curved coccyx. And again, we can observe this in the traditional male-females that we look at in our society, because if we look at a female, we tend to see an extension in the buttock area, where if we look at a male, we tend to see a flatter buttock area. A flatter buttock area because the coccyx turns towards the inlet, where in a female, it does not. It turns outward more. Now, the rather obvious difference, and I like to point this out, is if I was to be a baby and I was passing through the female pelvis, the baby passes through the pelvis rather easily. Where if I was a baby and I was trying to pass through a male pelvis, it would be impossible. So the comparison between the two is a comparison between the inlets, the outlet, the ischial spines, and the coccyx.